And when she sent me over that space, I instantly called my business partner. I was like, yo, let's go check out this space. They're only asking for X, Y, and Z on it. And we have the option to purchase the liquor license too. So we go into the space. He walks through it. I walk through it. We look at the location, which is fine. And we tell Stephanie, you know, all right, just give us a second. We come back inside. We actually meet the owner who owns the space. We shake his hand. We said, we'll take it. 30 days later, Taste Cheesesteak Bar was created. We did the fastest renovations to a space that me and my business partner has ever done. Literally 15, 16-hour days to get this open. This right here is August 2nd. If you guys can see that right there, that's August 2nd. This was when the space used to look like this. That's what the space used to look. Same spot, but you see the mustards, how the bar is set up, all of that, right? So right here, if I'll show you the context. There's drywall on the wall. The bar is already being put in. That was August 8th. That was 6 days after we were done. After the last day of open operation was on the 2nd. 6 days after. So that just shows you the context of how fast we were working.
38%. That's the amount of entrepreneurs that are struggling to get their business funded because their personal credit isn't where it needs to be. Now, you can look into alternatives like corporate credit cards and vendor accounts, but the truth is the easiest way to get access to 5 to 6 figures in funding is to have good personal credit. As an entrepreneur, the stress of trying to build a successful business is already enough as is. So why work harder than you need to when you can simplify the funding process by getting your credit restored? My company, Takeoff Financial, has served hundreds of entrepreneurs just like you by helping them avoid the pain of getting denied for business funding by restoring their personal credit, and we want you to be the next one. So click the link above or below this video to secure your free consultation, and let's put you in position to get you funding that your business needs.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Marvin Francois Show, your #1 source for all things business, finance, and investing. And today is a very special day because our guest today is the owner and founder of 1990 Business Consulting Firm, which specializes in helping aspiring entrepreneurs with business strategy and planning solutions. He's also the owner of the newly opened Taste Cheesesteak Bar in Philadelphia, which is one of the fastest growing bars in Pennsylvania right now. Our guest has used his experience in corporate America as a business strategist for multiple Fortune 500 companies and his success as a business owner in helping aspiring entrepreneurs start and scale their business to help the masses. And today, he's here to do more of the same. I don't know how I was able to pull him away from 487,938 women who are blowing up his phone right now, but by God, we were able to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, I'm here with the one, the only, my guy, Mr. Kevin Dulce. What's going on, family? How are you?
What an amazing intro. Let's start from there. Listen, man, you are great at what you do. First and foremost, congratulations on the podcast. I know it's been doing amazing. Just seeing where you are starting out to seeing where you are now is just amazing. And I'm so very, very proud of you, man. Haitian brother to Haitian brother. You know, I gotta show my appreciation to other entrepreneurs out there, especially ones that's for the culture. You know, us being children of immigrants, and especially with what's going on in our country of Haiti right now, it's just really big of us to be on this platform, and to be aspiring as children of Haiti. So definitely appreciate you, man.
My guy, I appreciate you even more. And I can speak for my audience when I say I am very appreciative of what this episode is about to be because we're about to burn the house down. This is going to be one of them ones. I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. Thank you so much for coming on. Obviously, I'm familiar with who you are, and we want to make sure that we get the audience just as familiar. So before we get into the nitty gritty of all the fun stuff that's connected to all things entrepreneurship, I did an okay job of introducing you, but nobody knows Kevin Dulce better than Kevin Dulce. So who exactly is Kevin Dulce?
I feel like the beginning was so long ago because it's just been so much that has occurred since the beginning of time. So just to tell you a little bit about my background, I think it's always important to know where a person has come from in terms of their family, in terms of the people that they've been around, because that defines their character and it can define their character in the end. So Just to start, I am a child of an immigrant. My mother being born and raised in on the island of Haiti, as well as my father. My parents are what you call mutts. So my mom's mom is from France. Her dad is from the Bahamas. She was born in Haiti. And my father's father was from the Dominican Republic. His mother is Haitian, and he was also born in Haiti. My parents came over to America in the late 60s, early 70s, where they then had my older brother, Herman Dulce Jr., who was born in 1981. Shout out to the Haitian CEO. Uh, and then my sister as well, born in 1985, and then myself, who came along in 1990, hence 1990 Business Consulting. Um, so born in Brooklyn, New York, but Philadelphia is what raised me. Grew up in the public school system as well as the Catholic school system, as well as the charter school system. What people don't know is that I was a little rebel when I was younger, but the one thing that I did maintain was quality grades. So um, that allowed me to further my education, my higher education, go on to East Stroudsburg University, where I obtained a uh, degree in biology with a minor in business, which is crazy. I was supposed to be a surgeon. Um, Took my MCAT, got a 28 on my MCAT. I needed the highest score was a 45, but to get into any med school you wanted to get into, you needed at least a 30 or above. Did not obtain that 30, but honestly, I was really doing it for my parents. You yourself know, myself, other children of immigrants, whether you're Haitian, Jamaican, African, it doesn't matter. It's only three things that you can be: a doctor, a lawyer, um, honorable mention, engineer, and a nurse. Those are the only things that you can be because that is the American dream for foreigners, so they can brag to their friends that the children are very successful in those areas. Also, being a child of an immigrant is that my parents didn't know there were other main areas where you can also make money. So just forcing their children to follow one direction. Not everybody is as smart as other people. No matter no matter how hard you push your child, everybody has different learning skills. And what our parents also forget is that it is our life, and we're going to navigate and adjust and go in a direction that we want for our life, because when you were raised in your time, this is what worked for you. Now we're in the age of technology. Now we're in the age of Bitcoin and different financial streams of income, including the internet, including the number one money making machine out there, which is your iPhone. Your phone is the number one money making machine out there for you now, which a lot of people don't understand. It's well, you should understand now, especially yeah, you should understand now. You have your Instagram, you have your Facebook, you have your Snapchat. And back in the day, you had your Vine. You know, and Vine was going crazy, and those 7-second videos that was going crazy, which really paved the way for social media nowadays, where Instagram took their stories from Vine and Snapchat and all those other places, and now you see it's doing it on Facebook. Um, so I grew up in that era of just really learning what I wanted to do. After East Stroudsburg University, I then went over to Connecticut, worked for UBS for a little bit. After I worked for UBS, I went to New York, got a job at Marcus Evans, which pretty much was a full service marketing firm. What we did, we solicited different CEOs. It was more of sales. We solicited different CEOs of Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies to come to a summit. It wasn't a trade show or conference. What differentiated us from trade shows and conferences is that we put decision makers in the rooms with other decision makers to cultivate certain deals and negotiations on any mergers, acquisitions, or anything like that that would benefit those organizations. So whether it was in pharma, whether it was in banking, whether it was in hospitals, senior care facilities, whether they was SNFs, whether they was ILs, ALs, we were putting those decision makers in a room with other decision makers. I made a lot, a lot of money, and I learned a lot as well, because when you surround yourself with other people who are intelligent. When you're not the smartest person in the room, it benefits you. And me not being the smartest person in the room, and me and being able to go sit in on those summits, and me and the commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell, and me being able to meet other decision makers within the hospital space, within the banking space, individuals from BlackRock. You're in the room with these people, and you're listening to them speak. They're keynote speakers to this, and you're listening to other people's problems, right? What we had to do was crazy due diligence before we made any sales calls, because we were selling a summit. We were selling people based off their pinpoints, based off what their needs were. I need to get in front of this person so I can show them my technology that will be great in this hospital system so that we can cure these patients. That's what we're doing. We are bringing those people to the decision makers. After leaving Marcus Evans, my dad had a hemorrhagic stroke, which made me move back to Philadelphia. Took some other roles within the marketing space, VP roles. My last job was with a company called Target Media, which outsourced me to a company called Triller. Triller is the competitor to TikTok, but it's more on people our age. You know what I mean? That Gen Z um, ranking people. So I was the vice president of strategic partnerships and investor relations for them. And what I did for them was help them cap raise uh, with the company that also did the cap raise for Snapchat's IPO. And you guys can do your own due diligence on that one because, of course, we signed certain documentation, so I can't speak on too much. But we did at the end of the cap raise, it was about $150 million, which gave us a $1 billion valuation. Decided to leave after that and start 1990 Business Consulting. And it's literally been up from there. 1990's been around for about 5 years now. We are doing seven figures. I grew my company to a seven-figure company. What we specialize in is pretty much aiding different entrepreneurs because I saw there was a hole and there was a gap, especially within our culture as African Americans, where we didn't know how to do the majority of just starting up a business. What is an LLC? What's your EIN number? How do I get a business bank account? How do I write a business plan? Just filling in that gap. And there was other companies that were doing so, like LegalZoom and Rocket Lawyer, but they weren't really speaking on it. They were just taking your money, like, get your LLC. This is it. They're not telling you what a virtual assistant is. They're not telling you what a virtual office is or a registered agent. They're not educating you on these things. And I found that was something that was needed. Still to this day, people don't even know what that is. Day. There are 350 million Americans in the US. I've only serviced about 4,000 of them. So that just tells you that there's a crazy amount of room for growth with that. So I know one of your follow-up questions is going to be, how'd you get into the restaurant space? How'd you start Taste Cheesesteak Bar?
Well,
Um,
I'm excited to talk about taste because I got 1,049,060. I got some questions about taste,
no, I
but
know you have a lot of questions for Taste for sure.
before we get into taste, I'm curious though because I'm listening to your story of how you transition into entrepreneurship, right? And for me, I'm like, all right, cool. You have this white collar corporate America job. You're making ridiculous money. You're rubbing shoulders and elbows with premier players in all different industries and businesses. And then fast forward some time later, you start your own business. There are a lot of other individuals who were in your situation, or if they could be in your situation, would have just stayed there from that point in time till death. So what happened there that made you decide that you were going to walk away from such a high paying job that was sounds like it was extremely fruitful to ultimately taking such a large risk and starting your own business in 1990? What took place in the middle of that?
So a few things took place. One of them being that I realized that I was just a number. I was still getting commands from somebody who was still above me, even though I did hold a VP level role. I still had to, you know, I still had to chain of command. I still had to talk to my chief operating officer, my chief financial officer, and my CEO. Even though I had them at disposal, but still, it was still somebody I had to um, make command to. So I was also getting shares and commissions off certain deals, right? So when I realized, hold on, wait, I'm only making this much compared to that. What the actual company is getting, oh no, I don't like that for me at all. That's not something that I want at all, at all. And transitioning that and being in that space and deciding that I wanted to leave and do this for myself was just really, really, really big. And trust me, it was hard as it was hard crap starting out for sure. In the beginning, the first 3 months, I probably only made like $500. It was very tough because now what they don't tell you about entrepreneurship is the grind. Right? There is a constant grind. People, it's instant gratification, and it is not at all. So just learning how to navigate through that was a turning point for me, and just really becoming an entrepreneur. Plus, I always wanted to be a billionaire. The goal was to always become a billionaire. So, working for somebody was just a vessel to me to the actual ship, mothership that I wanted to get on, which is becoming in that 1% in terms of $1 billion gross in that revenue.
I love it. I love it. So now, in us understanding that transition from corporate America to starting 1990, you scale that to a seven-figure business. Once again, if someone who was working in corporate America making all that money, a lot of individuals in that same spot would be like, you know what, I'm good. I'm gonna just ride this out till the end. You make the transition, bet on yourself, start a business, scale that to seven figures. A lot of other individuals in that very same position would just stop there and be like, let me just ride the coattails of 1990 till the wheels fall off. Good old Kevin comes back to the drawing board and be like, nah, I want to do something else. Thus, 1990, not 1990, Taste Cheesesteak Bar comes along. I want to dive into that transition of what exactly took place from 1990 to you ultimately deciding that, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and open a cheesesteak bar. What was the inspiration behind that?
I have a really, really, really good mentor who is also one of my best friends, who is also my brother, right? Not my actual blood brother, but he's about 53 years old. Shout out to B. We've been friends for years, and he has over 22 plus years experience in the food and beverage and restaurant industry. And I've been watching what he's been doing and what he's been doing in the space. I've been helping him as well, just on the book side, just on the business registration side, amendment side, just helping him with the business. Actually came back from I came back from an Asia tour last year. If y'all remember, I was gone for about a month. I was in Bali, I was in Thailand, I was in Singapore. I was just bouncing around for about a month. And when I came back, I was bored. 1990s on automation right now. I have my virtual assistant running everything. Everything is just, I learned how to delegate. And once you learn how to delegate, that's how you can take the step back and the business is going to run itself. Right. So I came back, and I always look for like spaces. Like me, my mind's always churning. I already wanted to open up something, but my realtor, Stephanie Washington, shout out to Steph, she actually sent me over a space down in Center City. And when she sent me over that space, I instantly called my business partner. I was like, yo, let's go check out this space. They're only asking for X, Y, and Z on it. And we have the option to purchase the liquor license too. So we go into the space. He walks through it. I walk through it. We look at the location, which is fine. And we tell Stephanie, all right, just give us a second. We come back inside. We actually meet the owner who owns the space. We shake his hand. We say, we'll take it. 30 days later, Taste Cheesesteak Bar was created. We did the fastest renovations to a space that me and my business partners ever done. Literally 15, 16-hour days to get this open.
30 days from when you guys signed the lease to get the spot is ultimately when you opened up Taste Cheesesteak Restaurant.
I'm gonna show you this because everybody always says that, right? And I think it's always important to give people context, right? So I'm gonna give you some context. This right here is August 2nd. If you guys can see that right there, that's August 2nd. This was when the space used to look like this. That's what the space used to look. Same spot. But you see the mustards, how the bar is set up, all of that, right? Right here, if I'll show you the context. There's drywall on the wall. The bar is already being put in. That was August 8th. That was 6 days after we were done. After the last day of open operation was on the second. 6 days after. So that just shows you the context of how fast we were working. We were just working extremely fast.
So break down that entire process to me then, right? You guys secure the space. So from conversation to business plan to ultimately like the launch, what's happening during, obviously we know the rehab and everything else is taking place, but what's taking place during those 30 days?
So during those 30 days, so the day after we completed the handshake deal, the lease was being drawn up. We had to submit a LOI, which is called a letter of intent, stating what we want in terms of whether we want the equipment, this is what the lease price is going to be at, this is what in terms of the liquor licenses, how the taxes are going to be paid, et cetera, et cetera. We send that over to the person who's leasing out the space, whether it's a commercial broker or whatever the case may be. They get it. And with that information, what they do is they accept it. When they accept it, now a lease is being drawn up. Right? So we did a 10-year lease on a space, so a 5 plus a 5-year option if we want to renew. And then with that being said, now that's going over to our lawyers. Shout out to Paul. So Paul done handled all of our paperwork. We got that signed. All of this is happening like this. Really, the dude was so happy to get it off his hands. He gave us the keys the same days that we shook hands with him. And it was us. Now, the next day, on August 3rd, we went to our demo. We got our construction team, started going through the demo, started ripping off everything. We already knew the vision that we wanted. We was keeping the same layout that they had before, but we was just modifying everything, taking wallpaper out, changing flooring, changing the way that the bar looks, taking off their TVs, how they had them. If you come in a taste, it looks like a completely different location. Everybody's like, didn't this used to be a pizzeria? Like, this is crazy. And the line that you have outside of here is insane. It's a zoo. This strip used to be a ghost town. When we just first got in there, like, oh yeah, some people's like, oh yeah, this is a ghost town. Nothing's gonna be successful over here. Wrong. 30,000 plus cheesesteaks sold in the 5 months in that space. And it's been insane. So during that 30-day process, of course, we're doing runs the floor and the core. We're going through our permits. We're talking to our lawyers, making sure there's a liquor license transfer. It's just a lot of things that's occurring within that time frame. I remember when I set my grand opening date, and of course, with a good mentor, he always teaches you a lot of lessons and lets you learn from a lot of lessons as well. So I was shooting for September 16th, which was my grand opening date, right? So he was telling me, he was like, we need to do a soft opening or whatever the case may be. We're not ready. We're not ready. We're not ready. And with me, I'm like, nah, we ready. Look at this. This is coming from a person with zero experience, not listening to. I'm just ready to blow the roof off this thing. The marketing push for it was like an album release. I was going crazy on the marketing. Plus, I had put out the date of when we were going to have our grand opening. So of course that already hurt me. So now, I don't want to delay that. I already got the news coming out, everybody coming out. I don't want to switch that date. So he's like, all right, we're going to push it. Mind you, we know not to push it. So there's a VIP night that happens the night before for the VIPs to come in, get a little taste, etc. Then that next Saturday, we had our grand opening. We had a line of 550 plus people waiting outside to get in, right? Into this 2,000 square foot place. 550 plus people trying to get in. News here. We pack it to the brim. It was so packed in there. We did our hiring process, everything prior to. I had a bartender quit on me mid shift, like in the middle, like right in the beginning. Quit on me. This is on grand opening day. Quit on me. I had to get friends and family to jump behind here and start ringing up. It was the craziest thing ever. But the learning lesson with that is I should have did a soft opening. I shouldn't announce the grand opening day until I really knew that the systems was in place. We was having software issues with the POS system. It was just a lot going on. I didn't get to test run the product first. You know what I mean? And the growing pains with being a successful business is that, okay, I only ordered 250 rolls, but I had 500 plus people trying to get cheesesteak. And in the beginning, we were serving pizza too. So people was getting the oxtail pizza, the jerk chicken pizza, all like people were getting those things. I took out of it because one, the pizza revenue wasn't high enough, right? It was doing great because the margins on pizza are very, very high. Like it takes nothing to make pizza. So it was great, but we were only working on one grill for cheesesteaks, and cheesesteaks were running the business. So we took out the pizza oven and we added another grill, which we were dealing. The reason why we added another grill is because we were dealing with speed issues. That there were 2.5 hour waits, and people were still coming. The lines were just so long, and people were still coming, and they didn't care to wait. But we wanted to get those sandwiches out faster. Yeah, we got good sandwiches, but we want to have great customer service as well. We want to have great turnaround time as well. So we know how to get those sandwiches out faster by adding a different grill, adding another grill, adding another fryer, learning what your cook line needs in terms of staffing. It just takes it's a lot that goes behind it. I'm over 37 employees right now um, in this space, and it's just like people don't understand the ins and outs, the drama, the things that occur, the bickering, the employees. It when they say it's the hardest business to get into, it's the hardest business to get into, for sure.
The biggest risk that most entrepreneurs take is trying to build a successful business without funding. But what if I told you that risk doesn't have to be your reality just by you having access to the right information? What's going on, family? My name is Marvin Francois, and just a couple of years ago, I was a new entrepreneur trying to turn my dreams of building a successful business into a reality. Now, once I learned that the key to me doing so was accessing business credit, I accessed the funding I needed, leveraged it to build multiple six-figure businesses, and I haven't looked back since. And now I want to give you the exact blueprint that I use to do this so that you could do the same for your business as well. So this Thursday, I'm going to be hosting my free Bankroll Your Business Masterclass, where I'm going to be teaching you how to access a minimum of $50,000 in funding, whether you have good credit, bad credit, or no credit, so that you can take that funding to build the business of your dreams. But listen, we only have 100 seats, and by the time you watch this video, about half of them are going to be gone. So if you haven't already, click the link above or below this video to secure your seat, and I'll see you on Thursday. Let's go.
Going from, once again, successful consulting firm, launching a restaurant business where outside of your mentor, not really having any experience, right? So you're essentially like working with him to get this up and running, and of course your business partner. Now fast forward to one of the fastest growing cheesesteak bars out of Pennsylvania. I'm curious to know, because I'm putting myself in the mindset of somebody that's looking at this from the outside in, right? Philadelphia is known for cheesesteaks, right? I want to talk a little bit about brand, especially because in this day and age that we live in right now, brand is so important. If I'm listening from the outside looking in, I know Philly is known for cheesesteaks, and I'm looking at taste. I'm like, okay, great. You guys have done a tremendous job in just scaling. But if I come to Philly for the first time, what is it about taste that separates you guys from a Delisandro's or Ishkabibbles or any of these other spots that I can also get a cheesesteak from? What exactly is it about you guys' brand that makes Taste one of one, that has people wrapping around the block just to get this sandwich? What is going on?
One thing that I do love is a great interviewer, because this man right here is like his research on other cheesesteak spots. Man, really that's so. What differentiates us from your Maxes, your Genos, your Delisandros, your Ishkabibbles, all of those places, is that we are a cheesesteak bar. We operate as a restaurant over anything. And what changes the dynamic of coming to Philly and getting a cheesesteak is that you can actually sit in an environment, have your cheesesteak with a perfectly curated cocktail next to it. There's no place in the city of Philadelphia that does what we do. We are the first cheesesteak bar in the country. We are trademarked. This is us. This is our brand. This logo's trademarked. The name is trademarked. Taste Cheesesteak Bar. And I wanted to make sure when I cultivated something, it had to differentiate us from the rest. our competitors? What's going to make people come to us besides our sandwiches? What's going to make people want to spend money with us besides our sandwiches? It is the vibe, it is the environment, and it is the food. And not only do we have the best cheesesteaks in the country, and honestly, we have the best cheesesteaks in the city of Philadelphia, period. And we've been around for 5 months, and that award is going to be announced next month, April 21st. I can't tell y'all what award it is, but we are getting we won an award in Philadelphia, a really really big award. Which is definitely going to change the landscape of the cheesesteak culture in Philly, especially with the new kids on the block coming in and doing what we do. So that's going to be very very big for us. But I wanted to make sure that, and that's no shade to everybody else, because we wouldn't be able to do what we do if it wasn't for the Maxes, if it wasn't for the Genos, if it wasn't for the Pats who paved the way, if it wasn't for the Delisandros who paved the way of creating the cheesesteak culture in the city of Philadelphia. You know what I mean? But I wanted to come in, one, as a minority, two, as a Haitian American. That's why one of our secret sauces, what makes our cheesesteaks, is that ippies, marinade. And that's our differentiator. And that's why our cheesesteaks taste the way that they do. And other people try to mimic it, but you can't mimic it. We have curated chefs. We have a crazy recipe on how we do everything. We're using Cooper Sharp cheese. We got the Licio rolls. We're using the best of the best products to create the best of the best product. And just being able to do that really shows why we're different from those other brands, why we have those lines from those other, and they're crazy. The Angelo's right now was holding the number one spot for cheesesteaks in the city of Philadelphia. Line wrapped around the clock, probably doing 800 sandwiches a day. Alessandro's probably doing 800 sandwiches a day. But also, you also have to remember, with those brands, they've been around for a while. So they already have their patrons. They already have their loyal customers. I bet you, if we put up a Taste cheesesteak up against any of those other cheesesteaks, we would win. We will win. It doesn't even compare, because one thing about me, I do my due diligence. You think my fat behind wasn't going around to every single cheesesteak spot, seeing which cheesesteak is better and who's a crazy runner up? Yeah, of course. I gotta make sure our product is good. I know these other cheesesteak spots are not doing that, and if they are, kudos to them. But we're number one for a reason. People are saying we're number one for a reason. People who really eat cheesesteaks, content creators, food chasers, are coming in there saying, no, this is the best Philly cheesesteak I've ever had. And that's for a reason.
So now, from all the success that you guys have had in such a short span of time, like we said, getting the business off the ground within a span of 30 days, lines wrapped around the block. I can't go on Instagram and not see someone tagging the restaurant, talking about how incredible the food is. It just doesn't happen. I want to talk a little bit about the other side of business that you've kind of touched on a little bit, but I want to dive deeper into, and that's the side of the business that doesn't make it to social media, right? Like you said, the restaurant industry, this is one of the hardest industries not only to get in, but to stay in. Very, very difficult. So what is a typical day in the life of a cheesesteak bar owner look like, from second you wake up to the second that you go to sleep? What does a normal day-to-day look like? Because it still is a brand new business, right? So I'm sure there's a lot of craziness that goes into it, that for someone that may be wanting to get in this industry, that can be added perspective to where they know, like, yo, this is what you're getting into if you're trying to get into this space.
I'll say this, because I know other people won't talk about it, is really just learning your operations, learning the mechanics. I'm not perfect. Taste doesn't operate seamlessly yet to where I want it to operate seamlessly. I want my business to run like a well-oiled machine.
Right.
Right. So there are times where, dang, we didn't have enough. The craziest thing that I'm learning too, Marv, and just thinking about this, is holidays, right? It's holidays, because I'm not paying attention to, oh my God, Monday's President's Day. There's going to be an influx of people that come in. So my roll order is probably at 500, but I needed 800 rolls that day because everybody's off. So now they're coming there because it's a 4-day weekend. So I'm not thinking about how the numbers can shift. And that was what I was dealing with in the beginning. We were running out of rolls, running out of food, running out of rolls, running out of food constantly because those holidays. We open up during holiday September and the last 4 months of the year. It's holiday season. You got Halloween, you got Labor Day, you have Thanksgiving, you got Christmas. It's all of these holidays that occur. A crap ton of Jewish holidays are in the latter part of the year. So you're dealing with people being off of school, people being off of work, and just really trying to navigate through that. The operation part of running a restaurant business is probably the most stressful part. As we're on this podcast right now, my phone rang maybe 6 times, and that's the restaurant calling me. And prior to me even getting on the call with you, I was talking to my Cisco rep. We just got our Cisco rep in January, just looking at a vendor instead of us going inside a restaurant depot and doing the shopping ourselves, is learning how to operate with a vendor, especially because we're going to be scaling, is having somebody come in and do the deliveries for us, making sure that the inventory is correct, learning your numbers, learning what percentage waste you have. Just look, people don't understand that accounting with your inventory goes hand in hand, right? And that's the most difficult part of the business. Okay, we spent $3,800 on liquor today, or we spent $7,000 on liquor this entire week. How much are we making liquor this week? It needs to be 3 to 4 times that number. And if it's close, it's either somebody stealing or they're not using their jigger. Their jigger is what they're pouring to make sure that the shots are accurate. But we also need to make sure that we have that 8% spillage rate included into that either. You have to know your numbers for your business to be successful. A lot of restaurants don't make it within their first year is because they don't know their measurements. They don't know, okay, I can tell you, yo, Kev, how many ounces of meat goes into your beef cheesesteak? 10 ounces of meat go into our beef cheesesteak. How many ounces of meat go into your oxtail? 8 ounces of meat go into your oxtail. I can tell you that a 50-pound box of oxtail, when it's broken down, put in a pot, cooked off, bones removed, is 25 pounds left. That 25 pounds is going to give us about 50 sandwiches. Knowing those numbers, knowing your price point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what goes into that price point? What goes into that price point is the cost of the meat, the cost of the roll, and the cost of the wrapping. That all goes into that price point for that sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
You have other people who are coming in, they're not counting the cost of them. They're not measuring or weighing their food. So they don't even know how much food they're losing. Nothing's even. So of course you're like, dang, I already ran through all this. I already ran through all this steak already.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, buddy. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. We're running through hundreds of pounds of steak per week. Hundreds of pounds. I literally just got my Cisco just sent me over our numbers for how much we spent in terms of, because this is always interesting to know, right? On average per week, we're spending $14,000 on beef. We're spending $24,000 on oxtail. We're spending $3,000 on salmon. I want to give you my cheese. On cheese, we're spending $3,000 on cheese per week. Those are just the numbers, right? French fries, we're spending $7,000 on French fries a week. But let me tell you something. That's only a third of our revenue. We're cooking them. So, I say all that to say this is that metrics are everything. In other industries, it's like KPIs, your key performance indicators. What are your key performance indicators? Do you know that? Who's your best bartender that's ringing up the most drinks in their shift? Know that they're gonna get more hours. Who's your best server? Who's getting back the best reviews? When you get a bad review, who worked that day? You have to know all of these things, and you also have to know what your organization needs. Yo, Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays, I don't want any plastic cups being served. I want all glass. Hire a dishwasher. Cool. Hire a busboy. Make sure that's getting done. So we're constantly have clean glasses throughout those are our busiest days. Yo, what's your slowest days? Go back in your metrics. Wednesdays are our slowest days. Cool. That's right before everybody comes out on Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Sunday. Crazy. Yo, we're gonna make sure that we're staffed and staff a host, staff a line manager this day, a to-go person this day. So we can make sure that operations is running seamlessly. Herman just sold out the Blueprint Summit this past weekend, 500 plus guests. You know where they all fluctuated into? They came right on down to Taste the entire weekend. It's a zoo. But the thing with operations too is learning your occupancy for your building. How many customers can you serve at a time before you're missing customers? You still want everybody to get the best quality of service. So yes, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, what do we have? Security. Security needs to be on site to hold the door, to manage the door. We're still serving alcohol. Everybody needs to get carded, making sure that happens, making sure that we're always in code for L&I. The bread's not allowed to be on the floor. It needs to be on at least an inch, at least 6 inches above the ground. Make sure those crates are there. Make sure everybody's complying. All of our workers, nobody else wears gloves. You know who wears gloves? All of our cooks wear black gloves. We're the only ones in the city, Cheesesteak spot in the city that does that. If we see anybody else doing, we know where they got it from. So we have an open concept. So people are actually being able to sit at a bar and seeing their steaks being made. They love that. They love that experience. We want to give you that vibe. On Fridays, we got a DJ. Yo, when we got a DJ on Friday, revenue goes up an additional $5,000. Yeah, so we need to make sure we have a DJ every Friday. We don't want to watch it. We know that people come to Taste After Dark on Fridays. It's a revenue builder. Learning your marketing strategy. How are we going to push this every week? You know what I almost missed as a business owner? I didn't know that yesterday was National Cheesesteak Day. I didn't know that. I found that out on Uber Eats when I was ordering breakfast in the morning. I was like, it's National Cheesesteak Day? Automatically, call my marketing person. I need this done ASAP. So we can hurry up on the internet, celebrate National Cheesesteak Day. Next year, I'm turning National Cheesesteak Day into Cinco de Mayo.
Come on now.
Crazy. Now that I know, I'm going to be planning out a month in advance. Yeah, this is what's going to happen. These are specials that we're going to have. Everybody come to Taste. All the taste. By next March, there's probably going to be 5 tastes by next
Come on
March.
now. Well, that's it.
Scaling now. So.
Well, and I'm actually happy you asked it, because that was a perfect segue to my next question, because as someone with such a vast background in business strategy and business planning. In business, you get in business for one of two reasons: to scale or to sell, right? So I'm curious to know, I want to know what the vision is for Taste. Like, whether we were talking about over the course of the next 5 years, 10 years, is the plan to build this up to a point where you're ultimately looking to exit, or is this something that you're looking to scale where we're potentially talking about franchising?
Everybody should be looking to exit their business. I don't even know why people stay in business long enough to not have an exit strategy. You need to have an exit strategy. If you don't have an exit strategy, then what's your plan? Right? To give it to your kids? How do you know that your kids even want to deal with this business? Why don't you just create a fortune for them so they can go do what they want to do? The reason these people are rich, the way that they're rich, is because they know how to pivot. Right? They know when is a good time to sell. The scalability for Taste is insane. We've been getting investors pitching us to buy in because they see where it already is. We've already been offered $1 million. Why would I give you $1 million? I already wiped $1 million with my ass already. Excuse me, but we've already done that. Why would I give you that? No, I don't want to take that. We're gonna scale this baby out to multiple stores. So at the end of this year, it should be 4 Taste cheesesteaks. Our next location, which we already secured, is in Charlotte, North Carolina, right across street from the Spectrum Center, that will be open this summer. So be out for that. We have 2 more locations open up this fall, and then we're going to continue to keep doing the same thing over and over and replicating it. But the first thing that we need to focus on is just making sure that we have all of our operations intact so we can scale the way that we need to scale. And that's all part of the growth process that we're going through right now, and just learning that scalability, especially with being in different locations. Taste is very particular about where we're going to place a location, and also the location in that particular geographic region. as well. And Taste does not work without a liquor license. So we're making sure that we're acquiring liquor licenses in every state that we go to.
Diving deeper into Taste, you mentioned this, and I was able to read it into this before we got connected today. Like you said, this is not a one man army that's running this business. You essentially started and launched this business with a partner that has a very deep experience in the food and restaurant space, if I'm correct. So what's interesting about that to me is that I also am in my own business partnership, and what I've come to realize is that the best business partnerships are the ones where you and your business partner have similar values but complementary skill sets. So I'm curious to know for you, what do you believe are the values you carry as an entrepreneur and the skill set that you have that's allowed for you to have the success you've had with 1990, now with Taste, and of course, future ventures to come?
I guess vision. I think a lot of people struggle with vision and structure, and then also not taking the leap to just do it. I'm a risk taker. I'll gamble 1 million to make 5 million, to make 2 million. And when you don't have that drive to really do so, that's the differentiator. There's a lot of people that do this. A lot of people that do this. And there's a lot of people that do this. No, there's a small amount of people that actually do this, that actually run and get to work. I'm one of those runners. I'm gonna make sure that it's done. When I partner with my business partner, he's one of those risk takers just like me. So we share that together. We're looking at a multitude of different businesses. Yo, let's do this. This is how the finances are going to go here. This is how the construction is going to go here. We're going to move this person over here. Da, 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 da. We're always moving. We're always looking for deals. Me and him are just alike. We're always looking for deals. No matter what. We have our holding company. That's the umbrella of everything that's going under it. Right? High Def Hospitality has an arena, not just Taste. We have a place on Delaware Avenue in Philadelphia that's going to be immaculate. Enigma Sky Bar, overlooking the whole Ben Franklin Bridge. That project is going to be done by July. There's different lanes, high end, different lanes that we're doing, that we want to make sure that we're hitting every single space, every single genre. If you want high-end food, you could go here. If you want to just catch a vibe a different way, you could go to Taste. If you want to do this, like, we want to make sure our hands is touching everything. If you're familiar with Steven Starr, David Grootman, those are restaurantpreneurs who are just killing it right now. They already created the blueprint. Why am I not allowed to follow that same blueprint? It works. It definitely works. So yeah, I'm following the same guideline. I'm following the same outline and getting to that point. My business partner is good at what he does. He's good at the construction side. He knows the restaurant industry, and I'm a numbers guy. I'm great at numbers. Great at numbers. So I can put the deal together, and then we just cultivate and roll off each other there.
So what would you say for other entrepreneurs as well who, because like I said, the beauty of a business partnership, when you find somebody with similar values and a complementary skill set, is that I can't even say the sky is the limit, because when you guys are on that same vision path, it's like nothing can stop you, right? And a great business partnership can be the catalyst for insane business success. But similar to like marriage, if you're not careful and you partner with the wrong individual that isn't in line with where you're trying to go, it can also get very catastrophic, right? So if I'm an entrepreneur and I'm listening to this interview with Kev, what are some of the do's and don'ts that I should potentially be looking at if I'm looking to partner with somebody on either a venture or a business that I already have that I'm just looking to take to another level based off of your experience and your expertise?
First and foremost, don't just partner with anybody. I think that's where people struggle. They want to partner with family members and people who really just don't share the same vision as you. You always want to partner with somebody who shares the same vision with you, not somebody who shares close to the same vision as you. No, somebody who shares the same vision and goals as you, right? Before me and my business partner got into our business, we've known each other for years. Years. We built a relationship based off of years. It wasn't just, oh yeah, because some people might come into a spot where they can start a business with somebody. No, when you look at Steve Jobs, When you look at Bill Gates, they had their team for years. They're all billionaires together. And it's also learning with your partner who else can fit into that team. You need a team to be able to build out and scale and to build a fortune. You can't do it by yourself. What are you good at? What is this person good at? What is this person good at? I'm a good numbers guy, but I'm not an accountant. And I'm not an accountant for the restaurant industry, so I'm gonna go find myself an accountant. I'm not a lawyer. I can read through a contract, but I don't know what to pull out of a contract. I'm gonna go find myself a lawyer. I'm not a contractor. I can't build out stuff, so I'm gonna go find me a contractor. They're good for the team. Yo, I don't have the time day to day to run my establishment. Yo, let me find a bar manager who can run it, a restaurant manager who has that experience. Let me pull them on in. Cool. I don't got time to do the hiring. That's what my bar manager's gonna do. You need to learn how to delegate for you to be able to scale. Finding the right partner, right? So when you're finding your partner, of course, it comes with everything that I've already said, right? Just making sure you have that relationship and that a relationship is already cultivated. But also, when you're finding that right partner, you need to really do a deep dive of what you're trying to do, right? Because a lot of people don't even have a vision of what they're trying to do. So they struggle at finding people who can be in alignment with them, right? If you're like, dang, I want to open up a dry cleaner in Philadelphia, but this person that you're working with wants to open up a dry cleaner in 50 other states, you might not even want to open up a dry cleaner in 50 other states. So the relationship just does not work. So just find that good partner. Also, with finding a good partner legally, make sure everything is documented. Everything is documented. Me and my business partner's partnership is legally documented through an attorney, signed and notarized. If anything was to ever happen to me, my share of taste goes directly to my family, goes into the trust. Then that's just delegated out over to my family. That's what happens. He doesn't get that 50% ownership. He doesn't take over 100% of the business. That just doesn't happen. My family has up to 60 days if he wants to buy in, up to 60 days to give him a response if he wants to buy into the company, buy in that other 50%. They can sell. They can sell 25%, they can sell the whole 50, right? No matter what they want to do. So you want to make sure all of that is documented legally, especially when you're going into any partnership deals. Everything is documented, whether it's emails, text messages, whatever you need, all of that. Because you're right, things can go sour. So you just want to make sure you're on top of all documentation. Shareholder agreements, operating agreements, everything.
See, you're making my job so easy because the segues into these topics, you just gave me the perfect layup. Let's I wanted to talk a little bit about that as well because I know that is your field of expertise when we talk about documentation, having that structure in place to protect yourself. You see, a lot of people would think that Kevin Dulce owns Taste Cheesesteak Bar. What they don't know is that a holding company in Wyoming is actually what owns Taste Cheesesteak Bar, and Kevin Dulce just so happens to have access to that holding company, right? We live in this day and age. We hear a lot of people throwing the term around of protect your asset, generational wealth, but a lot of people really don't understand the structure that goes into that. You do because you've been doing it for years now. Let's dive a little bit into that, right? Starting off with kind of what I just started to unpack. I always hear this talk about holding companies, right? And things of that nature. What exactly is a holding company and why were you so strategic in having one in place? Now, I'm sure not just for this business, but probably any of the other businesses that you have going on as well.
A holding company is exactly what it states, right? It's there to hold assets, right? So um, it doesn't manufacture anything. It doesn't make any products. It doesn't do anything. Its sole purpose is to be majority owner of whatever other subsidiaries that you have underneath it. And everything transfers up into that holding company and it can pay dividends to whoever it needs to pay dividends to, whether it's a corporation, whether it's an employee. As long as that holding company is being taxed, it's an S corporation, right? So now Taste Cheesesteak Bar is paying its revenue up to High Def Hospitality. High Def Hospitality pays Kevin as an employee. So I get a paycheck from High Def. I don't get a paycheck from Taste Cheesesteak Bar. And also, I'm not an owner of either. I'm the president and CEO. I'm just an employee. So when you put it in that way, you're protecting yourself. Well, who owns high def hospitality? The trust owns high def hospitality. What's the trust? You can't find that information out. It, because it's in an anonymous state in Wyoming. So I have anonymity there. And that trust has anonymity there. So boom, you coming to sue who? No, we're good. We're good. Also, another thing too, people might be like, yo, so I know you're opening up other locations. Are they all under the Taste umbrella? No, they're all different tastes, all under different LLCs. All be under the same. It makes sense. I need to separate those entities. If you're gonna sue Taste Charlotte, you're gonna sue Taste Charlotte. You're not gonna sue Taste Philadelphia. Why would I connect those assets? Don't do that. Separate them. Everything's underneath a different corporation, underneath a different business, but all underneath the same holding. The holding company can't be touched, can't be sued.
Listen, if you're an entrepreneur struggling to get funding because of your bad credit, then this video is for you. You see, I understand that when banks deny businesses for funding, they're not just denying businesses the capital they need, but they're also denying business owners the resources that they need to build the business of their dreams. And as a business owner, I've seen this happen over and over and over and over again, but I want you to know that there's a solution. Because here at Takeoff Financial, we've helped countless entrepreneurs just like you go from having poor personal credit and not being able to access funding to having perfect personal credit that they were able to leverage to access 5 to 6 figures in funding, and we want you to be the next one. So click the link above or below this video to secure your free consultation, and we'll see you on the other side of success, family.
As we begin to start, because I know we got to get you out of here, you said something earlier, and I have to come back to it, and I think this would be a great way to kind of wrap things all together. And you've talked about this on every platform that I've seen you on. The goal, trying to get to a B, trying to become a billion. Not even, I won't even say trying, becoming a billionaire, and the work that you're doing ultimately to get there. I would say as we get to wrap up with everything that you're doing right now, when you sit down and you look at 1990, when you look at Taste, along with whatever other business ventures that you're putting together, everyone wants to make 6 figures, make 7 figures and beyond. But when it comes down to it, we know what you want to do, but why exactly does Kevin Dulce want to become a billionaire? Why is that the goal, right?
It's pretty simple. It's what Kevin wants, right? That's my want. That's my desire. It's something that I aspire. Um, I want to have FU money, right? And some people might have other desires for it, or no, I'm going to keep it real with you. I want to have FU money. I want to create generational wealth for my family. I don't want any of my children's children to ever want or need anything. We're about to become the Rockefellers. That Dulce name is going to become a Rockefeller name. Like, no, that's a Dulce. Like, they got crazy money. They're tied into everything, politics, businesses, everything that you can tie that family name back to, all from Herman Dulce Jr. and Kevin Justin Dulce. That's who created that wealth. Their parents were farmers, nurses, whatever. You know what I mean? But the children, their offsprings, is what created the wealth and what allows their children's children to never have to want again. Succession.
I love it. My guy. Listen, like I said, I know we got to get you out of here. I appreciate your time immensely. I'm sure at this point in time in the interview, you're probably on call number 28 from the restaurant. But before we let you go, let the people know that where they can find you, my guy.
Listen, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to you for giving me the platform to come on and just talk to other entrepreneurs, keep it real with them. I think um, something that we lack within podcasts is something that you're giving. You're giving authentic, um, real conversations, just real podcasts. I think sometimes people might come onto a podcast and they just want to sell, but I want to give y'all the nitty gritty of what really goes down within this industry. But just in life, it wasn't easy. It was very difficult. I didn't tell you guys that, them 15, 16-hour days that I was doing to build out Taste, I was also crying too, because it was a mental strain. And when I completed it, I also cried. And the day that I opened up Taste, I went to my brother's house to go pray with my mom so she could pray over me. And then my mom came into the business and she prayed over the business. I put God first. So, first and foremost, I want to thank my Lord and Savior for everything that He's given me thus far, for all the challenges that He's given me. Uh, and that's where I want to make sure I put that out because it's not just me. It's definitely the man upstairs. But if you guys are looking for me, you can find me at on Instagram, KevinJ.Dolce, DOLCE. And also follow us at Taste Cheesesteak Bar on Instagram as well. And 1990 Business Consulting, NTN 90 Business Consulting on Instagram. I look forward to seeing all the new followers, and I appreciate you, man. I definitely appreciate my guy Marv for having me today.
Man, I appreciate you. And listen, for everybody that's watching at home right now, I appreciate y'all. And if you haven't already, what are you doing? Take a second, take a minute, take an hour out of your day right here, right now. Just go ahead, slap the like button and show this episode some love. If you are in the Pennsylvania area and you haven't been to Taste, you're missing out. And if you're on Instagram and you're not following Kevin, what are you doing? Make sure you go ahead and tap in with my guy. I'll make sure I leave all the information in the description below. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Marvin Francois, Kevin Dolce. Y'all have been good. I've been great. This has been amazing. And as always, thank you and God bless. Peace.
Here.